and renewable energy spaces. We'll be providing presentations just like we saw with and via radio. That will be made subsequently after my speech, and therefore implore our investors to leverage these presentations to pursue opportunities in Ghana for our mutual benefit. Our doors will always remain open for collaborations in the private sector to implement our energy transition framework. On this note, let me once again thank you for your kind attention and urge you to engage in fruitful deliberations post and during our sessions. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Honorable Japan Hassan, for your opening remarks on investment opportunities in the clean and renewable energy space for a just energy transition. And as we have heard over the days, most of these programs need a lot of investments, and so his call for investors to rightly take their space and help us implement some of these programs is in the right order. As he said, during the panel discussion, we will be hearing more about programs that we need to do. But before we go on to the next session, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Opoku Akende Dankwa, CEO of GNPC, if you are here, kindly just raise your hand for us. And then Mr. Emmanuel Dankwa, CEO of VRA, who is also here. If there are any other CEOs I have not been able to mention, sorry, but you are all please welcome to the program. So without much ado, I'd like to inform all of you that we are going to have presentations by various experts on scaling up clean and renewable energy, energy access and investments toward a just energy transition. And we all know why we are talking about the energy transition, because the world is very dynamic, it needs energy to survive, and most of the energy productions we make bring out a lot of emissions, the NOxes, the SOxes, the methane gases, and our greenhouse gas levels have gone high. When the world was being made, there was a balance, and we knew that gas is required to we have to exploit resources, and so we have to raise them. And now the time has come of reducing it so that the world is exploitable in a very, very sustainable manner. So without much ado, I would wish to say that we are going into the part 1A of our program, which are going to be presentations from 5 industry experts to share with us their ideas and what has been done to date in the space of energy transition. So I'd like to say that the first presentation will be made by Ms. Yu Injay, and I'd like to invite her to the podium with a clap of applause. So her topic will be on addressing the financing and technical barriers and challenges to access to clean cooking investments in Africa. So without taking much time, I'd like to invite her to make a 7-minute presentation to us all. Thank you very much. Please give her a clap.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yin. I'm coming from all the way from South Korea. I'm from Climate Change Center. We are the NGO. Actually, we are the very first NGO in South Korea dealing with the climate actions. It's been almost 15 years already. And CCC, the Climate Change Center, South Korea CCC, Triple C, has been working together with the Ghana government for maybe last 4 years, 5 years already. We are having a really good relationship, so that's why I'm here today. Do I have a clicker, please? Okay, I'll see. Okay, I'm gonna share about what we've done with the Ministry of Energy of Ghana, and I also give you some other insights of that. Before that, I'll just give you the brief explanation of our organization, Climate Change Center. As I said before, we are NGO, and we are doing like 3 pillars, which is policy suggestion. We are in between government and private sector in Korea, so that's why we hear the voices from the private sector and we give the suggestion to the government. So there comes a policy suggestion. And the second pillar is that we believe the awareness of people, like youth, or the leaders. Awareness is very important to move forward. So that's why we're doing the raising awareness activity. And thirdly, we are doing the global partnership expansion. We are particularly working with many developing countries' government with climate projects like Ghana government. Before start explaining about our project, I would just share some numbers or data from the WHO. As you can see, access deficit in sub-Saharan Africa is kind of challenging, I think. So inefficient cooking fuels and technology produce high levels of high household air pollution, and also it affects health in a negative health effect. And then in terms of access to the clean cooking is still lacking, and is increasing by nearly 20 million years. Is based on the World Bank 2023 report and the WHO 2023 report. And another statistic is that you can see the proportion of the Ghana population with the primary reliance on clean fuels and technology for cooking. And as you can see, the orange color is accessible number. In total, it's only 30% at the moment. Whereas the rural area is way below than the urban area. So that's why our project is kind of nationwide Ghana project. So there is a project, we are actually the improved cook stove distribution CDM project. As I said before, we are targeting Ghana nationwide. Started from 2019, we've gone through COVID as well. And it's still ongoing, and we've done almost 90% of our goal. And then the scale is 500,000 improved cook stoves to be distributed whole country. And then methodology is like this. And then we have a project participants from Ministry of Energy and Climate Center, and then we also have a private sector, the investor from Korea. Give the history what we before we started, we done the local stakeholders consultation. I believe that these kind of consultations are very crucial in terms of getting all the voices from the local people. Like Korea has idea, but if the Ghana doesn't agree with that, we cannot move forward. So that's why we need the local stakeholder consultation. At the same time, we've done also there was a celebration launching of this project with the president. Nana Akufo, which was very huge. Oh yeah, and then the objective of this project purpose is that, pretty much to replace conventional cook stove, which is normally using the firewood or charcoal, to improve the cook stoves to household. And also, we also seeing improving the energy efficiency. At the same time, we also dedicate to realizing the SDG, which is Sustainable Development Goals, like health and climate responsive actions. So the numbers of 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 13 is belongs to the Sustainable Development Goals, which is climate action, good health, and decent work job. As you can see before, normally the conventional cook stoves looks like that, whereas our improved cook stove is like this. We have thermal efficiency is more than 20%. And then this is the concept of where the carbon credit comes from. As I said before, we are the CDM project, so we are getting the issuance. There is an issuance of CERs. And the concept of the issuance comes from those gap between baseline devices, which is traditional conventional cook stove, and then the emission of the carbon goes down, the green graphs, so that project device. The gap between those kind of gap became CER issuance. And I just put some pictures of a field that I visited in Ghana in July this year, which was very moving, touching for me. We've been to the Volta area and I saw that the distribution site is like this. Okay, and the benefits of our project, of course, we can reduce the cooking time, which will also affect the health, the people's health in the local, and then we also reduce the smoke and carbon emissions, and also dedicate to deforestation as well. And then also promote the sustainable economic growth in Ghana by creating a job in the local people, and we call it economically win-win structure. Okay, in summary, I would like to mention some points of our project. First of all, this is climate responsive action, which is dedicated to the net zero goal globally, not only for the Ghana, but I believe this global net zero goal as well, and improving the energy efficiency. And then also, since this is a national-wide project, I believe this is there's a principle, so-called leave no one behind. So we are thinking about people all around Ghana, local people's life, and boosting the clean food stove market in Ghana and the job creating aspect as well. And then we are pursuing the just energy transition, so-called maybe low carbon energy society. And then, as I said before, there is a CER issuance, and which is very important. We are connected to the carbon market, and I believe that using the carbon market, we can find opportunity to mobilize more private funds to be part of this climate action. So I think this carbon market will make these activities sustainable. And then ultimately, with this activity, we are dedicated to achieving transformative and low carbon economy in Ghana. And we are now singing the second phase of this project. So I'm very excited we work together with the Ghana government once more. Maybe Korea and Ghana, so we will have a strong relationship forever. Thank you both.
Thank you very, very much, Ms. Yoon, for your very informative presentation. I think we have seen the amount of work they've done with respect to clean cooking technology and its benefits, good health, reducing deforestation, and the like, and also contributing to improve public health. 500,000 stoves have been distributed. My only question to you, Ms. Yoon, is how sustainable is this project in terms of, first of all, investment costs into it, maintenance costs, if any, and then also the job creation. And in the second phase, what is the expectation for the second phase of distribution? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Let me start with your first question. How make it sustainable? I just mentioned our carbon market. So Climate Change Center is, as I said before, in between government and other government, Korean government, and private sector, and individual as well. So we are trying to coordinate everything to make it happen. And I believe those carbon credits is kind of, the tempting to the private sector in South Korea as well. Because in Korea, we do have ETS, which is emission trading scheme. And then the private sectors has a duty to meet their cap. So we have a cap and trade system in Korea, which means that they have to secure more carbon credits. And I believe that those kind of participation, motivation for them, and then I think that will make them to move forward and sustainable.
And in the second phase of the project, what do we expect?
Second phase of our project is seeing the situation globally. We are seeing the volatile carbon market as well, and the Paris Agreement Article 6.2 as well. There are a lot of mechanisms going on. So we haven't decided yet, but we're gonna proceed with maybe CDM's like transition to the SDM mechanism. But also we are looking to the Paris Agreement Article 6.2 project as well. But we will also have to discuss whether Ghana government with that as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We don't have much more to say now. Probably when we have time, we'll allow our audience to ask more questions on this. Thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you. I think Ms. Jai has demonstrated to us what clean cooking can do. In the second phase, they'll have to be discussing with the Ministry of Energy to move these projects forward. And I think that all stakeholders would be interested to support the initiative. Thank you. Before going on to the next topic, I'd like to acknowledge the Chief Executive of Ghana Grid Company, Engineer Ebenezer, who has just joined us. Okay. Thank you very, very much for that. Our next presentation now will be on renewable energy resource potential and energy efficiency with special focus on the energy, food, water, transportation nexus in a just transition in Ghana. And we all know the importance of the nexus. Food depends on water, water depends on energy, and energy, that's nexus, and there must be a balance so that we do not break down our ecosystems and just exacerbate climate change issues. So I'd like to invite to the podium Engineer Oscar Amono Meza, Executive Secretary of the Energy Commission. EP is here.
Thank you very much. So, sorry, I'm just trying to test the Good morning to everyone, and I'm going to start on existing protocols. So, my presentation is basically on the renewable energy resource potential and energy efficiency with special focus on energy, food, water, nexus in a just energy transition in Ghana. So my outline is basically on the energy and climate change, the energy, water, food nexus, the role of renewable energy and energy efficiency, renewable energy resource potential in Ghana, then my conclusion. So we have come to notice that the two major potential threats to climate is basically the energy and the transport sector. And in our energy transition framework and the energy transition investment plan is basically to set up strategies and policies to be able to mitigate such threats to the next one. So basically, Ghana is really in a position to getting this emission being mitigated, and we are also trying as much as possible to meet our 1.5 degrees Celsius target as set. And we are doing everything possible to be able to contain the nexus in a very holistic way, such that any one of them, that's be the energy, the food, the water, and the transport, doesn't suffer, because the weakest link could threaten the existence of all the others in the nexus. Now, looking at this diagram, it shows how it's a link all through, that is to say, the food, the water, and the energy. So basically, we notice that with the energy aspect, we need to find ways and means to use energy in a way that will not act as a threat to weaken the nexus. And energy, as we know, based on the impacts with regards to the emissions and the threat it has on the greenhouse gas effects, if we don't really find a way of using renewable energy in place of the fossil-fired fuels, we'll have that impact on the climate, and where we are now seeing various trends or the changing trends in the climate, which is impacting so much on life and property, and it's a threat to the natures as far as this is also concerned. So in this diagram, it shows us the role of renewable energy in the energy water flow networks. It tells us in the energy security that we need in the reduction of the greenhouse gas effect. It also tells us how water is also very important in its accessibility, the affordability of it, and the security that we need. Now, looking at the diagram, it tells us the role energy plays in terms of using it for pumping, for drinking, for desalination, the water distribution, and what water does to the food. So, one of them, if water energy should suffer, water will suffer, and then food becomes a problem for us. So, Ghana is in the process of now moving away from fossil fuel plants into natural gas plants, natural gas fired plants, which is in line with the energy transition plan. So what we're doing now is that about over 90% of our thermal plants are running on natural gas energy, and this is a way of mitigating the impact on the climate. Now, we are also looking at our possible best in using other renewable energy resources to add up to the generation mix so as to be able to attain that part. So as a policy in Ghana currently, our directive is to get 10% of the renewable energy source as part of our generation mix by 2030, which we are on course. So we have had issues where we've looked at how we look at energy security, had issues of how to look at water security, had issues of how to look at transport security for food, and had issues of how to look at the food security. Now, when we let you know whether I should do 2 times or 3 times. When we look at the holistic issue of this, the Energy Commission has come up with what we call the Ghana Energy Database System. And the Ghana Energy Database System, which you can find on our website, for all the 261 districts that we have in Ghana, we will be able to locate in each district the energy resources. We'll be able to locate in each district to say solar resource, the solar irradiation potentials. We'll be able to locate in each district the water resource in that district. We'll be able to locate the wind resources in that district. Likewise, we'll be able to locate in each resource the sawmill and the food processes in each district. So this becomes very easy for investors to make decisions when they're coming to invest in Ghana. It helps also research work for the academia, those in academia. It also helps in planning policy recommendation and formulation. Now, this is very informative and is very interactive, such that at the click of a button on the district that you want to go invest, you get all this information coming out and gives you enough information as to the resources that are available to help you take a meaningful decision. So on the screen, you will see the various pictures of what you will experience on our website. And it's interactive, but this is just to show you the pictorial nature of what you would see on the website. So you see the solar showing you that in the northern part, we have a lot of solar irradiation there. And you come into this section of Ghana, it's not too bad, but coming lower down to the southern part, it's not too good. Now, in the next diagram, you see that for the wind. So it tells you the wind resources, and that's done in the calculation form. Then we want to talk about the hydro resources in the various districts, so that you click a box and tells you all the statistics as far as that district is concerned. And then the last one, the agro processing and sawmill resource map. So this tells you and gives a fair idea of information to be able to know exactly where to come in to invest. Now, the energy database and energy efficiency are interlinked in a sense that the Energy Commission currently, under the directive of the Ministry of Energy, has been able to pass almost 20 airlines with regards to energy efficiency, electrical appliances for energy efficiency products, so such that we have now introduced label and standards for all these electrical appliances. So starting last November, 1st November of last month, and such that any electrical appliance in Ghana should have some standards and labels. So we are enforcing the standards for electrical appliances coming to Ghana. This is a way of also helping us to regulate, manage, and utilize the energy resources we have in Ghana in a more judicious way, to the extent that the electrical appliances also act as an input in going into the path of getting the networks strengthened. So basically, we've also had to get the young ones also to involve, where in the senior high school renewable energy challenge, we've been able to marry both technology and agriculture. So for last year's renewable energy school challenge, for example, what we had to do was clean cooking and processing using renewable energy technologies. Now the school, the senior high school from Puerto, won that competition. They came out with a solar dehydrator. Now what we did was that we don't just leave it on the shelves. We got ourselves partnering with CSIR. With CSIR, added value to the solar dehydrator. So currently, it is commercialized, it is on sale, and the patent price is going to go to the CSHS patent. So this is one thing that we're doing. For this year, what we did was mechanize small-scale agriculture using renewable energy. The school from Scarborough won that competition. They came up with a combined harvester. It does both sowing, it does irrigation, it does harvesting, and combined. And you should see, it's at our reception right now, a showcase for everyone to see. Using milk tins and minnow tins and simple tools that we can all access in our localities. And he came up with such a fantastic thing. So currently, this is also going to go to CSIR for them to also commercialize it and add value to it. So in conclusion, I want to say that network is very important, and each of us should be concerned in ensuring that this network stays. Because if any one of them should suffer, the whole value chain suffers, and food security will be a tricky one of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Oscar Amononeza. You said it so perfectly. Water suffers, energy suffers, food suffers, water suffers, energy suffers. Well, whichever way you go is a cycle. That was a very good presentation, quite insightful. Before we come to the question and answer session, I would like to invite the second presenter. Thank you very much. I think the next presenter will be Clement Boache, and he will be representing the chief executive of the Water River Authority. Okay. And the topic here, shifting to low or zero carbon power generation for just energy transition, challenges and opportunities for the power sector in Ghana. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, and good morning, everyone. Making this presentation on behalf of my chief executive, Simon Chidapo. Okay, so the outline goes clockwise. We give a little bit of background in terms of the Ghana energy sector, where we are. We talk about VI, what we've done in the RE space. We highlight the enablers of Ghana's energy transition agenda. Then we look at the opportunities and some of the challenges as well. Okay, so Ghana presently, or let's say as of December 2022, we had an installed capacity of 5,454 megawatts. This was made up of both thermal, hydro or large hydros, and core RE of 2%. Our electricity growth averagely over the last 10 years has been around 7%. Electricity access is 88.85%, and the on-grid RE is around 112 megawatts. I mean, what this says is that there's demand for electricity growth year on year. There's a good access rate, and also if you look at what the Energy Commission reiterated, our target is to have 10% RE by 2030. If you bump the current installed capacity by the growth rate, and look at the fact that we need 10%, it means there's more space or there's more room for improvement despite what we've done. For VRA, we developed the first grid-connected solar power plant in 2013 in the country. And since then, we've gone ahead to do other solar projects. Our operational sites, our head office, and some of our other locations, we have a number of rooftop solar. But in addition to that, we've developed additional grid-connected solar in Laura, Kali 1, Kali 2, and we continue to have other projects. We have floating solar projects in the pipeline, wind projects, other solar projects that we need to develop. But we want to look at what are some of the major enablers in the Ghana power sector that has spearheaded us moving in this direction. Number one, in the gas space, there have been some gas sector policies, both internally in VRA and in the sector. In VRA in 2017, we made an internal decision, came up with a 100% gas-fired policy. And so we switched from running our thermal plants from liquid fuel to natural gas. And by doing that, we saw that between the 2017-2020, we had reduced our emissions by as much as 34%. The government also introduced the least cost fuel procurement policy, which mandated that all thermal power plants use natural gas as the primary fuel. And so that has really helped Ghana in our energy transition space. We've also seen in the RE space, the Renewable Energy Act and the Renewable Master Plan. And you can see that the RE Act came in 2011, the first solar power plant in the country came in 2013 by VRA. And so those are some of the things that have spearheaded the increase in renewable generation over time. And currently, we have the National Energy Transition Plan, as well as the Ghana Energy Transition Investment Plan. That is to help us achieve net zero between 2060 and 2070. So these are the key enablers that has fostered Ghana's energy transition over time. Now let's look at the opportunities. As I mentioned, we have a renewable energy target of 10% of installed capacity by 2030. And so there's significant investments that is required. The Energy Transition Investment Plan states that about 12.5 billion is required by 2035. VRA in particular, we have identified sites, we have done feasibility studies for a number of solar projects, wind projects, hybrid projects, floating solar projects, already on the table. It's just the investment that is required. And as you see, there's the demand there in country as well. Not just in country. If you look at the way Ghana is located in the West African sub-region, we are in a very central location. And so VRA presently exports power to Togo, Benin, Burkina Faso, and sometimes to Cote d'Ivoire. And so by investing in RE in Ghana, you can also export. There's a bigger market. The entire West African market is available with the introduction of the West African Power Pool. And then also, you look at Ghana has a useful population, well educated. Once again, with our location, the resource is available for those who want to have end-to-end production of RE facilities and serve the West African sub-region. The West African sub-region has over 400 million people. Electricity access is about 50%. So there's more room for electricity demand over there for those who want to set up. And much as there are a lot of technologies available for energy transition, we still have carbon capture, green hydrogen, CSP, other technologies that are yet to be deployed in the country. And so opportunities exist for someone to come in and be a first mover and say, hey, I'm the first person to introduce green hydrogen into Ghana. And so these are the opportunities that are readily available to develop. And as I said, we have feasibility studies and all of that for those who are ready to partner with us in that. Of course, there have been challenges in our energy transition journey, but the major one has been access to cheap financing. The upfront cost of RE projects are typically high, and somehow in the sub-region, despite the drop in prices globally, we still see high prices. And so access to cheap financing is a major challenge. And sometimes even when you get the access to the requirements and demands being requested are hard to meet. And so those are some of the challenges that have impeded us in advancing at the rate that we would have loved to advance. And of course, RE has variability, and so much as you want to develop the RE, we need to strengthen the grade as well. And so investments are required to strengthen our grade in order for us to be able to expand as we want. So thank you. Thank you.
Very much, President Kwachi, for your presentation on the renewables that the VRA is taking implementing to have a So I'll take a seat and we'll have a listen from you. Thank you very much. So we've had two insightful presentations, one from Engineer Oscar Amononeza and the other one from Mr. Clement Kwachi. Engineer Amononeza, I have a little question for you, and it's simply this. The regulatory framework in the country as it stands today, is it such that it can help us push our energy transition in order that we have the nexus balanced? Or are there any gray areas you want to suggest modifications? And will they bring in investments that we talked about that we need to partner with investors to probably exploit the many?
Thank you very much, Madam. Currently, we don't really have a particular regulatory framework to govern or to manage the nexus as stated. But the breakup of the nexus are the responsibilities of certain notified organizations or institutions. So, for example, when it comes to energy, it's under the purview of the Ministry of Energy. When it comes to water, it comes under sanitation and water resources as a ministry. When it comes to transport, it comes under the Ministry of Transport. So the various ministries have a role to play in carrying out the policy in regards to the energy transition field. Now, the energy transition field was developed by virtue of the inputs made by the various stakeholders. So it becomes like a holistic document which spells out specific strategies and policies to be carried out by the various ministries. So in a way, even though we don't have a regulatory framework that governs the operation of the nexus in that value chain, there are various roles and responsibilities as spelled out in the energy transition framework and the energy transition investment plan with strategies and policies that each ministry to carry out in fulfilling that nexus as needed.
So who is the gatekeeper of all these policies and frameworks that each other ministry must make sure everybody works well? Who is the gatekeeper? Who ensures that everything is working in the right ways? If there is none, any suggestions, and is it even needful?
It's a yes and no. I believe the regulations as we have in Ghana, they work. And that's one thing that I'm so confident about, and I always tell investors that the legislative framework in Ghana is so strong, and that even gives investor confidence when it comes to Ghana. All investors that have come to Ghana can testify that they have that protection by virtue of our legislations. So for me, if you should talk about whether we need one to do an oversight responsibility or I think the sectorial cross-section which we work, in which we even get to develop the energy transition framework, which is now a document that governs everybody's operations. We will do the same way in developing and getting things done by the set goal of 2060 as well as
I think giving us some comfort that all the efforts being made will be that the result that all cheap like this. Mr. Boachi, as you spoke, you mentioned a whopping 25 billion investments that will be required to enable us shift to the low or zero carbon power generation. As as we think now in the face of the transmission and the energy transition investment plan and all that, do you think that our current policies in near to attracting investors? Because you mentioned that sometimes the requirements are hard to meet, maybe stringent, maybe difficult, but we need to move. Is there any suggestion or from where you have struggled, the challenges you surmounted, would you be able to suggest some little modifications to attract investors?
Thank you very much. As I mentioned, and you rightly stated, the major challenge has been attracting financing. And so it will be, much as we have good regulation, it will be good if there were some form of incentives in the system for people that develop green or work towards these energy transition projects. In other regions, we've seen a lot of incentives being given. If we could also foster the market for, there are tax credits, there are credits that are given for generating RE, and there are carbon markets where you can offset your green credentials against, and that would kind of create a market that once I develop these RE projects, there's a market not just for the energy, but also for the green credentials. And that makes it easier for investors to also come in and recoup their funds.
And I'd like to indulge in gathering here to probably give a very round of applause to our two speakers. We have many more questions for us. One would have been on the grade reinforcements required to move projects forward. I will have much time. In that time to answer, I'm sure some of the players in this room will answer the questions. Thank you. Okay, then maybe you will indulge me to probably answer this question because if you generate, and you remember that daily happens how do we
Okay, so the chief executive of Greenco is here, but what I would say is that as part of the National Energy Transition Plan and the funding figure that was put over there, upgrades and grid investments required. And so there's also a paper on the kind of investments required for specific locations to enable us deploy those technologies.
Thank you very much for attraction that they really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your presentations. I think us feel very comforted that we are on the right track to the energy transition space. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So at this point, I wish to say that we have two more presentations to make. One is on leading the way for clean and renewable energy investments in Africa, the case of Green Power Authority. I think from the video clip we saw, it was evident that the Green Power Authority is a leader in renewable energy development. And I'd like to invite to the podium Wisdom Togobo, Director of Renewable Energy, to make a presentation on behalf of the Chief Executive of the Green Power Authority. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol and speak on behalf of my students. As you may all know, Ghana is a signatory to the Paris Agreement, and under this we promise to reduce emissions by 30% on condition that consistent funding to support the full implementation of the Transportation Act And if you recall at the time, we promised to scale up the penetration of renewable energy by 10% by the year 2030. And 5 main programs of action was indicated in our national determined contribution. We Power Authority is well positioned to execute the first 3 of the 5 programs of actions that have been committed under the Paris Agreement. And you will observe over that within the last 3 or 4 years, given our mandate, we were able to add about 59 megawatts of renewable energy to the existing ones we have. We had 4 megawatts hydropower Tepinet, we had 50 megawatts land-based solar, and 5 megawatts floating solar. And this alone has increased our penetration by 3.7%. And we are very confident that with the support of development partners and investors, we will be able to go beyond our commitment of 10%. We have a very young, energetic engineers and staff who will be able to get this achieved. Just a little about We Power Authority. We are relatively young, established in 2007 by an Act of Parliament, and in 2020, His Excellency the President increased our mandate to include renewable energy development throughout the country. And the good news was that since the development of the hydropower plants at Gui, the engineers who were involved in the construction used this experience to develop and install a micro hydropower plant in the Volta region in Chachad, which is working effectively and generating power into the grid. We are committed to increase our investment opportunities in the other hydropower potentials. So far, we have just completed procurement process for feasibility studies for 4 of our sites in the Western Rivers. And we are also talking with the Ghana Water Company to use some of their dams for power generation. We would appreciate technical assistance and funding support for the development of some of these hydropower plants. In the area of solar, I'm happy to inform you that even though we came quite late, within 4 years, we start out to have the largest installed solar facility in West Africa, and we have the largest floating solar facility in the whole of Africa. And they are working perfectly and injecting into the grid. We are currently putting in place, or there is under construction, additional 200 megawatts of solar, 50 in Yendi, 150 within our entity. And as I said, we are the only company that is deploying floating solar in the country and in the West African sub-region. Most of this work were done by in-house engineers. We got our own staffs together with the local people to get this job done. And in We Power Authority, we have no separation of women and men. We have about 30% of our engineers being women. And I can tell you that over there, they are able to prove that what men can do, in certain cases, women are able to do better. And we have our this on the ground to get this job done. When it comes to intermittencies, you all agree with me that solar comes intermittently. When it comes to intermittencies, you agree that solar is very intermittent. It doesn't generate, the sun is not there constantly throughout the year, throughout the day. It starts slowly, it rises up to the peak and it goes down. And in the night, it is not there. So what we are doing, and this is the reason why we are moving on to become the leaders, we are the only company that has a battery energy storage system that is used to mitigate the intermittencies that come from the solar. It acts like the UPS that you have in the computers, so that you don't put too much stress on the grid. So far, we have installed a 10 megawatt-hour battery energy storage system that is used to hybridize the solar and the hydro. What we do now at Blue Power is that during the day, we maximize our generation on solar, and then as we go down the evening, we bring the hydro on board. So we have solar during the day, and then in the evening, hydro comes on board. No off-taker is ready to buy power from solar when it's not sure of having uninterrupted generation. But if you talk to Blue Power, we can guarantee you 24 hours uninterrupted renewable energy power. And this is what the off-takers need. And that is why we are the leaders in the sector. At the moment, we have put in place a number of projects in the pipeline. And we strongly believe that with these projects, when executed, we'll be able to achieve the government target of increasing the penetration by 10% by the year 2020. We have 60 megawatts demand project, feasibility study is completed, and we are looking for developers to come and work with us to develop it. We've also just started a feasibility studies for the Western Rivers. We are also doing feasibility studies for the Vley waterfalls. We have acquired a number of lands around the Greenco area so that we can be able to inject more solar in those areas. We are also in discussion with German institutions to demonstrate green hydrogen, and work is far advanced, even towards acquiring not just an electric bus, but a green hydrogen bus, which will be operated within the green generation area. So when it comes to our contribution to green markets, you agree with me that with the focus of projects that we have in the pipeline, industries that need to enter into the green market will not have to go around investing in their own renewable energy schemes. All they have to do is to come talk to us. You talk to us, and then we can sell a percentage of the electricity you need. We give you 100% renewable energy electricity. We are already connected to the Greenco transmission system, and Greenco will be ready to fill the power from green and from all our generation stations to wherever you are. So if you're an investor and you want to enter into the green market, you don't need to worry. Just come talk to us. We have a dedicated department that is looking into these areas. We only give you a small percentage of your power requirement, and you can be able to meet the carbon credit schemes. And you are guaranteed of attractive green tariffs. You know, even though we are generating 100% renewable electricity, we are still committed to ensure that there is carbon sink. So we have invested heavily in reforestation. All the second cycle and primary schools within our enclave, we have been able to create the needed awareness for them to learn how to grow trees and plant trees. We have supported them since 2012. We have as much as 1,400 acres have been cultivated, and by 2024, between 2022 and 2024, our CEO, who is here, has directed that we bring additional 1,000 acres of tree planting. And this, we are working hard on it. We are also conserving over 10,000 acres of forest around the enclave. You know, in Blue Power Authority, we see renewable energy as a business. So we try to look at the business opportunity that exists in deploying renewable energy. One of the challenges of business of developers when it comes to renewable energy is getting land. So what we have done is that we have gone ahead to acquire the land. We have about 184,000 hectares of land around our enclave. The whole place has been properly earmarked, and all you have to do is come partner with us. You have no problem with any chief. We take care of the land, and when it comes to dealing with the Energy Commission for the necessary licensing. That is our duty, and we make sure that we partner together so that we can have return on your investment. This is what we like to do. We encourage investors to come in to look into our fifth trade industry. We want to set the green city said that the estate development, industries, shall be commercial activities, ecotourism, and education. All this, the whole place has been properly earmarked, and we can be assured of. You can be assured of, return on your investments. So far, we have had some developers already on the ground. We have the largest sugarcane plantation underway. So far, we've developed 200 acres of land just as next week. And our target is to both 6,000 hectares land for sugarcane plantation. And our aim is to have 60,000 metric tons of sugar produced annually. The facility is under construction. The sugar processing facility is under construction. Meanwhile, the nurseries have been developed, and you can see some of the. That's my CEO holding some of the sugarcane, and the nurseries are ready, and we are expanding into all this. And this sugarcane plantation alone is going to create about 1,000 hectares. And don't forget, once you produce sugar, the molasses and bagasse is also a resource for energy generation. So we are trying to do a zero, make sure that there is no waste within our input. We are also doing more on cashew processing. You recall that around the Brown and Ahafo area, there's a lot of cashew plantations over there. The Indians just come and buy the cashew and export it at very cheap prices. What we is doing is that we are taking advantage of our renewable energy facility to create business out of the cashew processing. So we set up a cashew processing where we buy the cashew nuts from the farmers, process it into cashew so that we can add value to it. This alone is going to create about 200 direct jobs. And our target is to process 12,000 metric tons of cashew. This will add value to whatever we have. Green energy to produce this, and we will be able to sell it in the green markets. When it comes to tourism, our location, we are located next to the Bole National Park. And over there are a lot of people. But you know, if you go with a motorized boat, the hippos will all run under the water. So we are looking for investors who will come and invest in our tourism industry. You can imagine having a solar motorized boat cruising on our green, supporting tourism and having a feel of nature. And that is what we try to do when it comes to green power authority. We are looking not for free money, but we are looking for developers who will bring money, come and partner with us, so that together they can have return on their investments and return you will observe, I have my sister here who is always trying to observe that all the activities we have done, we did it with our own internal funding and with funding support from investors, not any money, because we see the business of being and we've not been able to trade away from what we have done. What we are trying to do is that we are seeking for technical assistance, for capacity to support us to access carbon finance and carbon. So in conclusion, let me say that Green Power Authority is committed to support Ghana achieve its energy net zero and also international determined that the Paris Agreement. Green Power is happy to partner with investors and development partners, not only to reduce carbon footprints, but to create jobs, alleviate poverty, and guarantee return on investment of the partners. So when it comes to Green Power Authority, we can be sure that if you partner with us in mitigating the heat, we will be able to achieve the commitments we have set as far as the and let me take this opportunity to thank you all. We have a 5-star office just near to the airport. So when you travel in, you don't need to walk too much. Just come over and come and let's talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ndogo, for that insightful presentation. I only hope that the 5-star office, the roof has got solar panels on it. You didn't mention that one. I think the last presenter in this space would be Mr. Solomon Ajese, Director for Power Ministry of Energy. And he's talking on multiple options approach to energy transition, highlights of Ghana's 2021 energy policy and energy transition plan. But before he takes the podium, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy CEO of the Ghana Petroleum Hub, Nana Amatuba.
That is covered by a forest card. However, for the conservation point of view, we argue and say that the value of land that is left for agriculture and the value of land where there is in terms of how is structured. There is
about what VL is doing,
what
he is doing,
as well as
actually what what happens is to give you highlights of policies and plans that can appeal on the close. Energy transition investment plans and now so the goals any set of goals, policies, objectives. The overarching goal is to develop low carbon energy resources, infrastructure, deliver clean energy and environmentally responsible manner for socio-economic growth. Objectives are to develop a comprehensive national energy transition plan, which has been done to achieve energy sector net zero carbon emission, to ensure the use of electricity from cleaner sources, to implement carbon pricing in the petroleum sector as a measure against environmental pollution. So now, what are the issues in the policy direction? Prior to the design of Ghana's energy transition framework, we had very extensive stakeholder consultations nationwide. And for these consultations, 8 main issues came up, and therefore the policies that have been developed are aimed at addressing these issues. Threat to energy security, and the policy directions are as follows: to adopt natural gas as a transition fuel for power generation and transportation, to integrate nuclear power into the national industry as base of power, to promote energy efficiency and energy conservation practices, promote and incentivize the use of less propulsion vehicles, establish a national renewable energy authority and other relevant institutions here on renewable energy, national energy mix, and to explore the production of bioenergy and green hydrogen as activity fuels for transportation. Number 2 is the potential revenue losses that come forward. The policy directions are to increase trade among African countries, to find petroleum products, to use them locally, and explore the opportunity for emissions to get carbon swap as instrument. Issue number 3 has to do with the potential stranded assets. And the policy direction are as follows. The first step is sustainable exploration, development and production of oil and gas resources to accelerate sustainable exploration, development, and production of petroleum. To accelerate the organization of the petroleum operations and to develop comprehensive national energy transition plan. Now also number 4, reduce funding for fossil related projects. The policy direction has cooperate with other governments with the Equatorial region in order to establish a regional fund and to capitalize the national oil companies. Issue number 5 has to do with the potential job losses. Policy direction is to collaborate with academia to provide clear solutions, that is, regional programs and modules for energy sector workers. This issue has to do with intermittency of existing supplies for modern renewable energy. The policy directions are 1, to ensure the realization of many hydropower with intermittent renewable, to promote the production of biofuel electricity and transport, and to explore the option of hybrid towards large battery storage. Number 7 is the resistance to the adoption of new technologies. The policy direction is to qualify the use of cleaner fuel and cleaner technology. Is the impact of climate change on the activities. The policy directions are as follows. To aggressively accelerate exploration, discover and monetize petroleum reserves, to introduce carbon capture, utilization and storage, sequestration, petroleum activities, to promote the use of renewable energy in offshore petroleum infrastructure, to develop the petrochemical industry to utilize domestic petroleum resources for domestic and export markets. So these are the issues and the policies related to them. Now we'll quickly look at the Alliance Executive investment plan. It's very simple. Captures everything. We've had about $500 billion to be spent within from now up to 2060. And you can see the various sectors and the types of projects, and then the funding requirements. We have up to 35 and then 35 to 2060. And for the near term, that is up to 2035, we're looking at about $24 billion, while the second half is looking at $488 billion. So that's what we need the various projects that we need to undertake. And now this picture. Why is this picture? This picture is telling a very simple story. The reason why we want to take steps to do something. We may say that we're not polluting enough, but the negative effects we just right in the face. We recently witnessed something, so I will encourage all of us to collaborate with them. Also, to encourage the investors to work with us so that we can achieve our net zero target. Leading with this was from our president, which says Ghana is committed to fulfilling a pledge to implement measures that will address climate change and its negative impacts on our safety business. Therefore, all these climate change issues will come to the national development agenda. Ghana is committed to the nationally determined contributions and the agreements from the Congress of Parties and places to contribute a quota to achieving the objectives. Thank you very much for listening.
very much. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Somonaji, for that very good presentation on the policies towards achieving energy transition in Ghana. Permit me to inform the House that Honorable Ebed Kappa has joined us, one of the Deputy Ministers of Energy. Honorable Andrew Mesa has also joined us, and we have in our midst also. Oh, sorry. And then we also have Deputy Representative of the V-Power Authority, Emmanuel Tando. Thank you very much. I'll sit down now and engage our Thank you very much, gentlemen, for the presentations. Mr. Solomon, there's just one little question I would like to ask you to clear our minds. That with the investments we have put on the team, they are quite few. And we just wanted to know whether today they are already engaging in investment towards some of the
Yes. Thank you very much. In September, on the sidelines of the Assembly, President of the Republic launched the Ghana Energy Transition Plan, and since then we've been engaging many of the
my question to Mr. Probo is, we see that the V-Power Authority has really done a lot of work in the area of renewable. And they are really injecting us that. And I just wanted to find out from you that with all the work you've done over these years, what are some of the key lessons you wish to share with us? In case other African nations have not engaged in who also want to be the all well transferred with a lot of renewable
Thank you. If you want to inject more renewables, especially solar and wind, this comes intermittently. Solar and wind energy comes intermittently, and in order to increase their deployment, you need a stable base load. Without base load, you'll be straight of grid. So that is why you can see VRA, because they have a strong base load, they are bringing on board more renewables. And with our authority, we are using our hydro power plant as a base load to support the intermittencies. And enable us increase more renewables, then we have to increase our base load. And that is why this time around we are focusing more on deploying or developing the other potential hydro sites. So we use those hydro sites as base load to support the solar that is generated. So that in the evenings, you can give continuous power. You can't rely on battery as a backup support when the sun is not there. So that is one lesson that we want to be added.
I think it's a very key lesson. I'd like to thank you very much for the time you share with us. Before you take your seat, I'd like to invite any of the presenters on stage to have a picture before we do the other slide. Thank you very much. We'll now move to the next phase of our program where we are going to have panel discussions with some members. I would like to invite Mr. Ben Saki, Director, Environment and Sustainable Development to the podium. Please come up. Then Mr. Wilson, and then Capital again. Mr. Seth Mahu, Deputy Director, Ministry of Energy. Mr. Kofi Ejako, Director, Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. And Mr. Okoku Ahine Dankwan, CEO of TNC. Please, team, can you help us with more? Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on stage. We'd like to have a very brief panel on what has all the programs and throw more light on days going forward. Please, I would like to start with
year we added 15 to it, so we have a total of 37. For our 2.5 to 6.5 to 13, we save about 50,000 tons of carbon dioxide. We need to do around 6 months. So that's critical for us. One last assessment is that giving us schedules by the competition to ensure to assign individual to the projects to monitor. And then we have the whole company, the whole department that does the quality of the monitoring activities. Protection against. They started at the coming back. So, almost all environmental activities
Very much. As we can all sign off on what you have said, the structures are in place to ensure that our environment is protected. My question to you is, we did a lot about solar in the please mind going more like the biofuel program we have, and it's what will be
Thank you very much. As I said earlier on, we are more interested in the business opportunity of renewables. So we started by having our sugarcane plantation ongoing, which will go into sugar production. And out of that, we'll be producing about 4 million liters of alcohol every year. This is a potential fuel to support, it's a potential fuel for both vehicular use or for domestic alcohol, for medical use and all other activities. So this is one aspect of it. Not only that, when you produce sugar, the byproducts, which is the bagasse and the molasses, they are also very high in calorific value and can be used for cogeneration in generating electricity. Our fisheries also need this for processing their fish. It makes the fish slimy and shiny. So yes, these are all bioenergy opportunities from our initiatives. We are also processing cashew nuts. And when you remove the husk from the cashew, the calorific value of this husk is also very high and can be used for energy production. You can convert it into biogas production, which can also be used for generation. So these are all opportunities. At the moment, the cashew plants, the cashew fruits, the fruit is just left to rot. In our long-term plan, we will go into processing these fruits for alcohol and other products. And these are all energy products that we do for us.
Thank you very much for that. Move on to Mr. Kofi. Please said, as a friend, barriers to low or zero carbon emissions
My friend, you're asking me to measure the size of an elephant with a very small. Okay, thank you. The future actually belongs to e-mobility, and Ghana cannot afford to be left behind. And this is what informed the decision to introduce the concept. And just like any other new concept, the e-mobility has its fair share of barriers that needs to scale before we attain the success. And because of your allocated time, I'll touch on one major barrier and the efforts that we have to scale that barrier. And that has to do with acceptability. Before any concept can achieve success, we, the stakeholders, accept the concept. E-mobility has so many questions, doubts, hanging around it. So what we started off by doing was to organize a big stakeholder forum on e-mobility conference at SBC in Accra, and it was very well attended. That forum actually started conversation, very peaceful conversation around the concept of e-mobility. And then again, we followed this up with charging facilities forum. That was also a big success. And I want to relate that the very largest these two stakeholder engagement has helped allay the fears of some of the stakeholders around the value chain. For instance, we now have a number of people approaching the commission expressing interest to build charging facilities. And before we held the charging facility forum, the number of both fully battery and hybrid cars that have has exceeded the 1 million, 1,000 mark. So it tells you that consumer confidence is growing by the day. And now we have a few charging stations also done in Accra. And I think that we are making good progress. We have tried not to leave anyone behind along the value chain. So we conducted a baseline study, and that baseline study has informed the standards for the charging facility that we are looking at. And that afforded us the opportunity to get in touch with groups like mechanics. The major fear was that the e-mobility was going to take food out of their tables. But when we got the opportunity to liaise with them, we made them aware that the only thing that is going away from them is the engine. The full software for the vehicle will still be there, so the organizer will come to the time, the board joint will be fixed, everything is clear. The only missing item is the engine. So I think that they are fine. Filling station operators are also come to know that through a site, you can sell the fossil fuel, they can also do the charging side by side, and they are also fine. So I think that we are on board. One thing that I need to also stay here have to do with insurance. Because of the fear of unknown, any vets were finding it difficult to have their vehicles insured. Because the insurance did not know what they were doing in. But I think that through this law that will come after that, now everybody has to be insured. So yes, level of acceptability, I think, is moving out. The recent budget has given a free equity waiver and transportation of uses that are meant to use commercial. In fact, it is below expectation. I've started this and going to be trying to get a complete duty waiver so that we will get the needed critical mass of vehicles that can actually show up at the market. And that is what we are looking at. So now that we have wanted to gain the political so actually as well, the picture is very good.
Engagement will also contribute because new things come up, technology will come up, new design will come up, and so once we begin having this conversation. It moves us towards our goals. I just wanted to ask that. I guess it's not on for us to expect the same other than policy of the conscience.
Thank you very much. Very easy, electric vehicle quality is not only the issue of transport, in collaboration with who are there with us. And let me go back. Including down to the school, an energy transition for you come back to those policy. So after the launch of this policy, they are going to be actually 3 phases of this policy. Preparation to take off the promotion and the phasing out of ICU. So this is what we are going to say. We are going to start the preparation to take off for the next policy. We will launch this in the possibility objective of promotion for countries. And although we are the need for us to launch policies that will hide the evolution. So moving forward, we are going to establish the ministry specifically for specific office. This manager at the director where
My name is Steve.
Ministry of Transport works with the driver training program, which has various offices.
I wish to move on to the said, the next narrative study and I think it's the position to go evolving energy. What strategies to diversify your inefficiency, traditional work, the investment in
Thank you. I'm glad I have my 2 minutes sitting right here. So the plan comes from the top and it trickles down in terms of the energy transition. When you talk about GNPC, even these national oil companies, you have oil. I do my colleagues and I see when you're associating yourself with the transition, for them it's more like a periphery. So you are already as solar, and you're already in a form of energy. And that's the big event. But it's difficult, and that's why the different parts of the because we are just part of the value stream. And even with the oil and gas, we're not using gas, we're just oil, we're just using gas. So we have to work in tandem with a long-term plan, and we have to have we have to have a whole shift in our thinking. So our mandate, our core mandate is actually my voice. So that core shift in the thinking has to be how to make oil in a sustainable way. And it takes time, right? You can add accessories like I know we're part of this mini heights program. We're looking at ways so we can bring we've got a lot of corporate social responsibility ways we can add to us. It's not part of our performance. So in order to do that, we have to look at the technology that's available. And we have to build that capacity. So if you have to ask me what is the main plan that we can move or be part of the overall architecture of energy transition, I'd say maybe looking at wind farms offshore because here we have that offshore expertise. But it's not wind farms are not our fault, but because we have that expertise, we can add on like our colleagues we also need a lot of funding. When it comes to places and environmental things of research, they require a huge amount of funding. So that's something we should looking at the national oil companies around the world, they're able to get the funding from the part of the oil. We still have resources that we haven't exploited. We still have, and I'm not sure it's such a stranded resources. So we cannot go cold turkey and just go from meat to meat to becoming a vegetarian. We have to do a very thought out and watch the things. So to answer your question, yes, we do have a plan, and the plan is part of the overall ministerial plan, which oversees that. But at the same time, it will take us a while for us to change our mind. If you look at other companies around the world, they change their name, right? Statoil used to be Statoil. Right now, it's called Equinor because it's taking quite out. And our mandate by law doesn't allow us to revolve so quickly. So we have to take our time. And this is what our president, His Excellency, said there has to be a just transition. There has to be an equitable transition. So we can talk about moving forward with the energy transition, but at the same time, we have to think about what is best for the environment and how we can let our resources.
Thank you very, very much for that transfer. It's just inside and comfort that GNPC understands the complexities within which we operate. And even though we move along with the PTIPB, there will be a lot of work yet to be done. There will be a lot of work to be done and trying to follow to see how we can also manage to as we were getting into the frame of the board transmission, just transition. Thank you very much. We still have a lot of work ahead of us, but we know as a leader that the cooperation support of the ministry is able to sail through. Even the amount of my questions. Can you highlight the policy methods in that achieving about that like who are the target sources?
Thank you very much, Odrika. Yes. The policy objective Ministry of Energy is to achieve access to electrification. We have implemented a number of policies for the last 30 years, which has driven access from 25% back in 1999 to about 88.85% today. We are at the stage in our education process where it is becoming extremely challenging to electrify the rest of the country, because now you're looking at communities that have low populations, you're looking at islands, you're looking at lakesides that do not have access to roads, etc. Therefore, the Ministry of Energy deemed it necessary to integrate or mainstream mini-grid technology into our education policy. So in 2016, we came out with the mini-grid policy, which focuses mainly on providing electricity access to island and lakeside communities around the Volta Lake region. We have looked at a number of strategies to deliver that. And one of the strategies that is working for us currently is government leading the investment that is raising the necessary capital to invest in the asset, construct the mini grids, and hand it over to the utilities, i.e. VRA, ECG, Metro, to operate on our behalf. We've done a number of studies. We just completed one, and looking at the investment requirement for us to be able to electrify all the islands and lakeside communities we've identified, we will need more than $250 million to do that. And the ministry is looking for investments from everywhere, from donors, from multinational organizations, for us to be able to do this. The key policy target for us is to be able to reach 90% average next year, and that will call for a lot of investment going into the mini-grid space. Beyond 2024, when we are able to declare universal access, we will have to continue to invest in the mini-grid and off-grid space to be able to electrify the rest of the communities in Ghana. I must say that we are having a lot of support from multilateral organizations in that space, and we still want a lot of support from our audience here, the investors who are here today with us, to support this effort. In fact, we can also explore the carbon markets to really drive investment in the mini-grid. Want to engage with go to, develop programs and projects that will be carbon financed in that space. So these are some of the things that we as a ministry, we are doing to be able to, do the last mile electrification. We are not only interested in providing electricity to people, but our objective is to be able to bring some economic and social transformation within the communities that we operate in. So we've added a number of layers to our mini-grid program, including productive use of energy. And we need to work with other ministries, sector agencies to be able to develop the layers that we've added to ensure that we have a holistic, intervention for our islands and lakeside communities as far as education and economic transformation is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that insights. We can see that a lot is being done there, because 90% by next year, what may seem very ambitious when it is proposed to the amount of money that we are looking at. We just want to find out whether the investors that you are making big progress approaching any of the funding arrangements. And all those studies, big studies, are all those done because 90%
We are making good progress, but as Oliver Twist would always say, we would still need more support for the sector. We have just succeeded in mobilizing about $85 million from the Climate Investment Fund, the Development Bank, and the state government to construct some 35 to 50 mini grids in island communities around the North Atlantic. We still need a lot of money, so we are still engaging a lot of financial institutions, i.e. the World Bank, the Swiss government, etc. So these are all the things that I think we need to focus our efforts on if we are to reach the 90% next year, and also beyond that, be able to connect the remaining communities that we have in the country. I must also state that the government of Ghana is also playing a critical role in this by providing the necessary budgetary support. Because we have been able to mainstream mini grid policy into the national electrification scheme, the policy is that any money we raise for grid electrification, grid extension, 10% of that should go into the mini grid space. So we're working closely with our colleagues in that sector to mobilize resources through the national budget to be able to construct a lot of mini grids for communities in Ghana. So we're making progress, but we still have to do a lot if we are to achieve that ambitious target of 90% and 99% by 2024 and 2030 respectively. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hyder. This has given us the opportunity to see what the Ministry of Energy, its collaborators, with the support of government, are doing in the just transition phase. And that's enormous work, really enormous investment. And of course, we will add our voice like Ghanaians that looking here for your support, and we believe that we really have a greener world as created by all the possibilities. So I'd like to thank you so much for joining us. I would ask your statement that we need to stand here for a photo shoot before I start it. For a picture
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Amelia. I am the founder and president for Africa Energy Technology Center. We were all gathered there for a common goal. As the world beckons for a more sustainable future forward, it's imperative. And I mean, clearly, you can all see that it's very important. The energy technology conversation cannot go on 2025. And in light of this, the Africa Energy Technology Center, in partnership with the Ministry of Energy Ghana, will be hosting the maiden edition of the Africa Energy Technology Conference, which is scheduled to happen in Accra from the 12th to the 15th of March 2024. Under the theme, Africa at the forefront of energy technology in a policy integration in a just energy transition. I think that one of the very most important conversations that has spanned across most of the heads of states here has been capacity building and technology transfer. And in this light, important that should not just be at the small micro part of the entire conversation, but at the forefront of the energy technology conversation, propelling reforms and policies that put that on the map. The program will feature very interesting sessions such as keynote addresses by the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, roundtable discussion, keynote speeches, women and youth in energy technology, networking events, gala dinner nights, as well as next generation. Some notable names include Dr. Prem, Minister of Energy from the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Farooq from Apple, NJ Ayub from the AEC. We'll have delegations and representations from OPEC, IRENA, Clean Cooking, International Solar Alliance, FDI, of course. They are open to partnerships and investments, MIC, oil and gas technology, NOC, IoT, and some sector agencies from Ghana. In light of this, I would like to leverage on this opportunity to formally invite you all to the conference, which is scheduled to happen from the 4th to the 15th of March 2024. For more information, kindly contact me or go to our website www.aetcconference.com. We are open for registration, partnerships, collaboration. I'll be there for a while in case you have conversations or you'd like to engage me or any project. Please feel free to go. All right, I only want to take more time. Thank you very much for making time to listen. Please, we look forward to welcoming you next year from the 12th to the 15th of March 2024 in Accra, Ghana. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Emilia, for your pitch. And my friends will be around, and so if people would want to have more information, to provide. Now, I'd like to invite Anifa Chaula from Corol to complete remarks on their activities.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute honor and privilege to be here with you in Havana today, and it's a really lovely pavilion. Before I begin, please accept the apologies of the UN Secretary General Special Envoy for Sustainable and could not be here with us today because she's on a main statement. But she wanted to make sure that we come here as part of our delegation to represent our deep commitment to the Republic of Ghana to work with her energy transition. And so my name is Kanika Chakla. I am her chief of staff and representing her today. And it's really nice to be here with also all of our friends in Ghana who have been such an important partner in the work that we've done together in the development of the energy transition plan. It feels like a long time because we have done so much work just in the past 1 year. but it was only at COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh that we first started the deep collaboration between Sustainable Energy for All and Ghana in further developing the work that has already been done in the energy transition framework, turn that into an energy transition and investment plan that we are now in the process of implementing. So what is really critical to think about in this is that not only have we deepened the work that was already done, but through the development of the energy transition and investment plan, we've been able to support your leadership in Ghana to raise the ambition to reach net zero by 2060. And we were really proud that the Honorable President was able to launch this plan on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in September this year. And this marks now the next phase of collaboration, and perhaps the most critical phase, because we have a plan, and the plan gives you deep decarbonization scenarios across multiple sectors, from the power sector to buildings to transport to industry. But it is now that we need to do the work. And as part of the work that we've already done in the investment plan element of it, we recognize that Ghana needs to have additional investment of $550 billion above what is already being invested in order to reach net zero. So while the negotiations are ongoing, and I understand that they're getting really heated up, just debating the $100 billion number for the world, Ghana alone needs $550 billion. And this is really important to think about what are the different collaborative approaches that we can take, as well as what are the market-based approaches where private sector can come in to enable and accelerate this transition. So this is the work that we're so proud to be doing together. And we would like to please accept our compliments in the large strides that you're taking forward every day. Most notably, the launch of your electric vehicle policy, which really is the start of building a transportation system for the future, as well as your commitment to participating much more fully in the global markets, whether it is on carbon markets, whether it is on critical mineral resources. And so we're deeply excited in our commitment of supporting Ghana. And I would like to especially thank the Deputy Minister Kawa for your support, for your commitment, for your friendship in this whole process. So thank you very much, and I wish you all the very best for your deliberations today. Thank you very much.
For the presentation.
Thank you very much, Anita Chawla, for your opening remarks. This one. I would like to invite a team from SPFORAL to make a presentation on the highlights of the issue IP. If they are here, they are invited to the stage. My name is Larry Thompson. I'm the advisor for energy transition planning in Africa. My colleague, American. Go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nicole Rabia. I'm Director for SPFORAL for Africa. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. I know that there's not a great deal of time, so what is to highlights? What is your highlights of the Ghana Energy Transition and Investment Plan, which is I think the second plan that we have done on the continent, and after the Nigeria Energy Sector Plan. We feel that this is a useful tool for countries like ours on the continent to support the pathway, providing our pathway to net zero, not only that, but supporting an increase in energy access and also supporting countries like ours to identify opportunities for resource mobilization to invest in the energy transition plan, which I think is, for me, the most important thing. I need to go to the slide now. Now, Ghana's definition based on the future pathways set out a trajectory for Ghana's emission. In the beginning,
prior to the development of the yeah. No, I don't. Sure. Okay, fantastic. I think without any action, Ghana's emissions could rise from 28 metric tons of carbon in 2021 to over 140 metric tons by 2050. Now, this is under a business as usual scenario in which the bulk of emissions will come from the transport sector, which will be driven by population growth, GDP per capita growth, and also vehicle ownership. Because as you know, we're in such high growth economies, and we're in such high growth economies, which is what we want because we have prosperity and big jobs. But in order to grow safely and to ensure that we grow in a way that is green and doesn't continue to add to the emissions, it's important for us to plot this trajectory across the various verticals. Now, alternative net zero pathways consider the 5 country level objectives or guiding principles. These are the environmental sustainability, energy system cost, economic impact, social implications, and also the security of supply, the security of energy supply, that is. Now, what we then did in partnership with the government of Ghana was to define an orderly transition or an orderly pathway for transition to net zero. And this assumed that Ghana could achieve net zero emissions by 2060 through the deployment of low carbon solutions across sectors. Now, a 2060 target is one that we felt would mean that Ghana was able to do this within its means, in its own time, and taking into account its economic priorities and balancing the public policy objectives, jobs and economic growth. Now, the socio-economic impacts and financing needs, based on the trajectory that we have defined, set out a need of about $500 billion, $555 billion US in capital investment over the period up until 2060. And this is equivalent to about $140 billion US more than business as usual, with the majority of investment going to power and the transport sector. Like, I understand that there's a lot of activity in Ghana on e-buses and e-bikes as well. Now, delivering this investment could drive new economic activity in the energy sector and beyond, and could potentially support the addition of 400,000 new jobs by 2060. Now, capital markets, we anticipate will provide the largest funding pool. What we found in other jurisdictions is that to do this, it will certainly require de-risking. In Nigeria, for example, we're working on the resource mobilization for the energy transition plan there. We are finding opportunities with pension funds because there's regulation that has allowed them recently to invest more in infrastructure projects. Not enough, I think it's less than 10%. And we hope that we're able to do a similar thing in Ghana. In Kenya, which is another country that we worked in, policy does not enable pension funds there to invest in quite the same way. So this is an opportunity. Capital markets are certainly one way to do that. So we're finding that it's easier to do that or to mobilize resources in these countries from domestic investors because they understand the terrain, they are less likely to have these high standards for de-risking investments, which is what we get from global investors. And I think in many events, it will give us a useful proof of concept as well if we are able to have domestic investors engaged. So we're currently looking for partnership with the government of Ghana as we take the next step in identifying opportunities and for resource mobilization and investment in the energy transition plan. Now, in terms of the path forward, we have a clear set of steps to drive the implementation of the pathway, which will be underpinned by strong governance, a clear timeline, and a cadence of interaction and supportive facilities throughout Ghana. That's the big government, with private sector. We anticipate that in the coming months we will engage strongly through the government of Ghana with private sector to identify opportunities for engagement, and all the while being supported and being led really by the government in this engagement. So I'm going to go to what I think is really, the most useful slide here, which sets out the topic concept. Yeah.
All right, thank you everyone. So this slide sets out the quantum of investments needed to achieve net zero. As you can see, we have USD 24 billion. Under that, we have near-term investment opportunity to build energy infrastructure with $500 billion of overall investment opportunities up to 2060, which is where Ghana is supposed to have achieved net zero. We also have new growth sectors. We also have energy security and trade balance and employment impact. So again, this is key because when we move towards the path to sustainability, we must have recurrent impacts such as job creation and also gender equality, and then also affordability as well. So I'll just jump this. And so around 100 billion funding pool is required for Ghana's energy transition to be mainly provided by capital markets. We have also some industries and some projects that we're looking at electric cars and 2-3 wheelers, which have been basically used for mass transportation. We also have electric trucks for trucking and logistics, and electric vehicle and vehicle fuel infrastructure. So this is something again that INSIPRO would like to also coordinate, where if you want to deploy electric cars, we look at the charging infrastructure as a third-party investment. And then we have on clean cooking. We've also partnered with a number of clean cooking companies to deploy clean cooking. We also believe that this will also improve the life of rural women, increase health index, and also standard of living. On grid infrastructure and distribution connections, we will also partner with the city and relevant stakeholders on this and try to define what those current reforms are, where we can also galvanize investments for grid infrastructure and distribution upgrades. And then mini grids and off-grid solutions. This will probably under our energy access, and we'll sort of deploy the same sort of mechanism in terms of using our universal energy facility to deploy mini grids. Now, of course, Ghana most about the 5 to 7% connections, but that may not necessarily translate into access to power. So for that time, we'll deploy mini grids. And then utility scale renewables and power plants. So again, we're already talking to a number of investors and a number of donor partners to try to define what the next phase of utility scale renewable projects will be in Ghana, and also to start discussing with the Ghana stakeholders on what that would look like in terms of structure and the documents, financing, whatever guarantees we need to be deployed, with the PPAs, the various standard PPAs, or perhaps slate or synthetic PPAs. And then utility scale, of course, and another conventional power plants. Obviously, we work with the government on the conventional ones. And then batteries for balancing the yesterday or different because it's actually very interesting. So we can do that battery storage. So I will kind of like skip through this. And so again, in terms of reducing oil and gas flaring, advancing offers the greatest emissions and reduction potential. So again, we're also trying to set up that kind of carbon markets initiative, and then we also commence discussions with Ghana on reduction of oil and gas flaring and utilization of flare gas for things. So we also look at carbon storage. It's still in this industry, but I think it's medium to this is something that we're deploying for Ghana. So we're also in discussion with a few of our partners on hydrogen, but in this case, in the clear case and the balance between true and hydrogen. So this is something that we'll discuss and see how we can green hydrogen for domestic production and also potentially for export. And then we'll also look at decarbonizing high intensive industries like cement, steel, and also manufacturing. So again, when it comes to transportation, this is something quite interesting, and we have different levels in different countries. So deploying electric buses for transportation, e-mobility for logistics, and also just working with other process in terms of policy. When you see that you phase out ICE vehicles and bring hybrids or full electric vehicles. So this is something that we're in discussion. We're also in discussion with a number of stuff. And assembly which vehicles. That was me. And well, I've already talked a bit on this, and this is on deploying the two-wheelers and the three-wheelers for mass transportation. We've already said deploying this in other countries like Kenya and also Nigeria. And this will be in the longer term, and with regards to global discussions on replacing biofuels, I'm listening to what you started at Jet A1 biofuels prohibition, but we'll look at this more in the longer term because it's in mass way. So again, this falls under one of our key programs in terms of clean cooking, and this we either clean cooking with mass deployment of LPG and also clean cooking with the electric stoves. So we work hand in hand, and we already have clean cooking programs in Ghana and a number of countries. And also a lot of companies like Foreign and also coconut clean cooking with LPG and also clean cooking with electric pressure cookers. We've already talked on power and how to also diversify Ghana's energy mix, which is a mix of hydro, gas, and so on. So again, this is also on the diversification of on the organic energy mix. We understand that there have been quite a few in terms of development with solar projects and also wind projects. At this point, I don't think that there's any wind project in Ghana, but in terms of wind speed in Ghana, that's about 6.5 meters per second, which is also similar to what you find in Senegal, and we can also deploy, and that's enough to deploy bankable wind projects. We've also looked at solar so far. There have been a few solar projects, but not really large grid connected projects from IPP. So this is something that we'll discuss with Ghana, and we'll look at what that concept framework will be and the amount of renewable energy that will be deployed over time. This could either be on a bilateral basis or on a competitive tender. Again, this is still nascent. We would look at deploying mass transportation of the electric buses and also hydrogen when comes a bit more back. At this point, our core focus will be on green hydrogen as opposed to blue hydrogen. And green hydrogen will be for domestic use and also for potential export. I'll probably skip through all of this, so I save some time as we'll talk about this. So in terms of capital for this, again, we as a CIPOL working with Ghana, we'll be looking at engaging a number of lenders from commercial banks who are donor lenders, looking at commercial and looking at concessional funds as well as commercial funds. And again, this will define exactly how we look at projects. why those projects are structured along PPP lines, and then private sector projects, or a hybrid of public-private partnerships where you can get donor to give concessional funds to the government of Ghana or the particular, which now own lending as part of its equity into an SPV for a project. So again, we will look at a lot of blended finance mechanisms, working with donor partners, AFDB, World Bank, and usual to look at what instruments we can use to boost investments. We'll be talking to legal, we'll be talking to ATI as well, looking at hedging, looking at securitization, whether it makes sense to securitize certain revenues for debt for certain projects, or whether we're building full see. Of course, we have to balance this out with Ghana's contingent liability before we deploy the currency. So again, this will look at what the implementation plan would look like in terms of target setting, which we have started to prepare and invest heavily on the sort of project across various sectors, from healthcare to sustainable cooling and buildings to energy access. And then we'll look at how we coordinate and take over this will help with working. So our energy transition office will work with all stakeholders involved in this in Ghana, and then we'll now look at deploying these projects over a period of time with set timeline. Taking through that, we'll also be talking to donors, lenders, and every stakeholder to make sure that at each point in time that those projects remain back. So yeah, I won't necessarily this will just be the enabling factors for an ETO. What an ETO, it's a kind of like a joint venture between Ethiforum and the government of Ghana to drive the implementation of the energy transition investment plan. It's like just build up the barriers to some of the sectors where we've gone through in terms of transport, cooking. So this just gives an overview of the detailed roadmap and an indicative implementation. As you know, a lot of these things are fluid, so we'll be working with the government of Ghana to try to implement this as fast as possible. So these are just some data that we've used in terms of preparing this year. So I think this brings me to the end of it. So for us, the ETIP, it's a path for Ghana to grow its economy sustainably, and we are testing for all we partner with Ghana to grow its economy sustainably, meet its SDG 7 goals, as well meet its net zero obligations across power and healthcare, across social infrastructure, across energy access, across electric mobility, even across sustainable aviation and across clean care. So this is a pathway where that will meet its own net zero objectives, and Ethiforum is here to work with that to achieve that. Thank you very much.
We wish to thank the team from Ethiforum for the presentation they made. That was quite a hefty one. I don't know Ethiforum, your slide shareable, accessible, but there's a lot of information there. I'm sure people would want to.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. So at this point, the Honorable Minister of Energy, Dr. Martin Akpokpo has joined us. And I'd like to invite you to say about for the second session.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure this afternoon to engage you have delivery from Ghana's Unit for Transition Industrial Funds. And if we follow the presentations given out, I'm full. I'm not surprised that we are asking for the PowerPoint so that people can read it and just this plan was developed out of our Ghana Energy Transition Framework with the ultimate goal of attracting investors and accelerating the implementation of projects aimed at achieving net zero emissions by 2050. Collaborating efforts between federal government institutions and SC for All has made this possible. I want to thank all the stakeholders, especially SC for All, who has played an instrumental role. The Ghana investment plan keeps to attract, as it closed this fall, for $550 billion United States in capital investment to scale up renewable energy, and also introduce nuclear power in the country's energy mix, and for the deployment of clean solutions and low carbon solutions, such as carbon capture, utilization, and storage. Investments are also needed for the deployment of electric vehicles. Just a couple of days back, the president launched national electric vehicle policy. Investments are also needed in electric vehicles to replace internal combustion engines, the construction of electric and hydrogen fuel charging stations, the production of biofuels, the replacement of biomass, industrial boilers and electric boilers, and the provision of energy efficient electrical appliances for the residential and service sector, among others. The realization of the requisite capital will culminate in the universal access to affordable and reliable power by 2024. Economy-wide decarbonization, socio-economic development will lead to about 400,000 net jobs and above will meet our net zero emissions by the year 2030. The investment plan anticipates that the majority of the funding for the project will have private sector capital and already or the risking instrument that will be available at the time. The government of Ghana will pursue policy reforms and provide a suitable environment for the execution of the energy transition projects. That's where we lack the national electric vehicle policy. Government has not taken steps in its annual budget to waive all taxes and duties for the importation of electric vehicles and for the manufacture of electric vehicles in the country. The Energy Commission also aware of the already published the standard charging station in the country. I therefore invite all investors to partner with to undertake the transition framework to drive industrialization and achieve our own net zero target. The highlight of the energy transition investment plan has been provided in the presentation that we all participate. As I said earlier, those are always open, and I look forward to several partnerships. Just before I came to Dubai, we have a very interesting meeting with the Danish company. Electric two-wheelers and three-wheelers in Ghana, and also do battery swaps so that people don't have to invest in batteries when it dies down, and just go to the swap station and change batteries. So Ghana will be for partnership and investment as far as we are through our attention for the Ghana song. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the heartwarming remarks. Ghana is going to now action has involved by opportunities to ensure that all the development plans made on action. Thank you very much. At this juncture, we'll go into the last segment of this program, which is another panel. And I'd like to invite the panelists. We are running out of time, and we hope that the next 5 minutes We have finished the last session and then we close for another program to take place here. So I'd like to invite Dr. Robert Sokoji, Deputy Director of Ministry of Tourism. Lift up anything from himself, people of what? Are you okay, friends? You can go to the Thank you. Ministry. Kevin, I'm not going to program for. Thank you very much. So this panel here, we would like to have the opportunity to understand a bit more, if not a lot more, which has been done in the area of transition. Dr. Sokoji, we have multiple presentations over the days. This particular on the highlights of the Ghana Institute of Transition Plan. What are some of the barriers or challenges in your view that we will have to deal with to ensure that our plan is implemented smoothly toward the 2060 goals in Ghana?
Thank you very much. The energy transition framework and the ETI is the roadmap that is looking at decarbonizing the energy sector, and also to make sure that we are energy resilient, and the issue of energy poverty, making energy available for industrialization, and also cheap power is what we are looking for. So we realize that the energy mix is we have the renewable, we have gas to power, and then we have nuclear, which we are looking at base load power. And the base load power, which is clean, will increase the renewable energies that we require. Because without base load power, if you look at the statistics, all the countries that have high solar installation in their countries also have high base load power, and most of them are nuclear and gas to power. So some of the challenges that I foresee is that we need to come out to say, to identify that we need to install more base load power, which is clean. We also have to look at the funding mechanism, because investors have to come in and to see that this is a global issue we are solving. And so we have to come in with a funding mechanism that will lower the cost of going green, because we have natural resources, and Africa and other countries have natural resources that they can harness to be able to go away from energy poverty. And if we are not supposed to use the diesel, the petrol, and also have to do green, then it has to be cheaper for the Africans again. And that's why, and that's part of the hurdle that we have to cross to get cheap funding to be able to get the $560 billion that is required for us to transition smoothly without affecting the economy of the country.
Yes. One of our energy ministers of energy made a presentation on the IoT of the and one of the things that one of them talked about was human capital development when it comes to nuclear. And I'm sure some of us have heard about renewables and all that. And I believe the ministry is working very hard to ensure that nuclear power is safe. Can you just give us some comfort? Just to
I'll say Ghana started program way back in the early 60s. And we rejuvenated our nuclear program in 2018. And since then, we collaborated with the International Atomic Energy Agency, dotting our I's and crossing our T's.
and not rushing the process. Other countries will stay behind phase 2 whilst the Lord does the phase 1. But we make sure that once the IEC gave us the green light by reviewing our document, then we go to phase 2. So we have established 3 bodies. The Ghana Nuclear Power Program Organization that is going to outlining the process we have to do. We have the Nuclear Regulation Authority that makes sure that whatever we are doing is going in accordance with safety safeguards, in accordance with international best practice. And then we have the Nuclear Power Ghana Limited that is going to be the one of the liaising with the international vendors to establish our first nuclear power plant. So for the step to say Ghana is poised, we have been operating so many nuclear power, so many power plants in Ghana, and the human resources there. We also established the School of Nuclear and Allied Science that's training our students, and we've also been sending students outside to our government vendor countries that we cooperate with to go and study, and then they come back and then form part of the human resource. So this is a step-to-step approach by Ghana to make sure that we safely deploy nuclear into the energy needs of the country.
Just recently, Ministry of Finance announced some tax incentives for the operating markets. It's a former incentive. That's one challenges.
There are definitely challenges, but all those challenges, I believe, are opportunities for the transition. And these, I mean, the first one that comes to your mind when you look at this, expecting investment of 550 billion by 2060. Now, if you are to take things like you expect that you have approximately 47 years to achieve. 37 years. Now, if you divide 550 by 10 of virtually $10 billion, and that in itself is a tough ask for an emerging economy. You've seen many policy initiatives, some of them answered here already, and we spoke about the tax for importation of EVs, etc. All to achieve and sell. But I think the opportunity so has a potential. If you're looking at solar, for example, the solar radiation is much more powerful than air radiation. So it's one we should tap. But there are other problems that we need to balance. For example, if you want to do solar, you want to create a solar park in Ghana today, because of natural vegetation, means that we have to clear land in the trees, which in itself is a challenge to what you're trying to cure, because you want more tea, not less. So you want a huge solar farm, and you have to find a land that does not have as much vegetation to construct. And the problem. So that itself is a bit of a problem. Secondly, but that's when the count is a mountain cut. You've seen the three projects where you have the solar power from water, which they are not considered. But if you take our mineral endowments, mining is another that has come under the challenges. And we all remember what happened in COP27, where the issue of Africa achieving zero meant that Africa had to trap a bit of the mineral resources. But these are mineral resources we need to develop. So if we have to trap these at the ground, we need somebody to push our development. And we want to do it ourselves. People like oil and gas industry becomes a controversy, especially. I don't want to, you don't want to add more to climate change. So there's a need for balance. But I believe that in terms of the policy orientation, we are clearly in that path. And many of the policies that we're enacting in that path. The other challenge is the human factor.
how to transition from what is already established to the world used to. Because a lot of these things also involve human behavior. Behavioral change. And so, and you mentioned one of the nuclear. When people hear nuclear, the first thing they think about is, oh, the dangers of nuclear. But countries have been using nuclear energy for over 50, 60 years. And they're safe and probably even safer than some of the others below. You know. And so those are some of the challenges. But I think that for Ghana, we are very well poised with our policies to open the space for private sector engagements and partnerships. I think it's still a very attractive destination and country position for many reasons. I mean, we are in the center of the world. And so in terms of logistics, Ghana is the best position in the African continent. Secondly, so we have active, logistics, and we have, and by the way, a lot of emissions today are coming from the shipping industry, much more than any other sector. We don't have, because we also have that, there are quite a number of things. How to mitigate the emissions that we have. But definitely, in terms of where we are going, even on vehicular transportation, there is a clear path to say that we're going to move away. But literally, we start from this, and I suspect that the direction is in the very near future. Most of these, not even because of the, we are definitely on the right track. The policy is going to drive us further by us making sure that we have a conducive partnership agreements that we can live with. Thank you so much for the
also means to contribute to decarbonization. And we are just trying to find out from you what's the business case for biofuel plants decarbonize the transportation industry.
Thank you very much. This energy transition for us, we see a lot of opportunity. I'm sure you realize that we used to call bulk oil storage and transportation. Because of that opportunity, we had to change the name to bulk energy storage and transportation. Because we see a lot of opportunity. So in terms of the business case, within the pathway, we see that the missing would happen. And we have an EV policy, electric vehicle policy that was launched. We also have the energy transition plan, which is looking to attract a lot of investment. But then we can't move there overnight. So there has to be a pathway, and that pathway will be which ones will be the transition for. First one will be gas. Second one will be how do we make the existing fuels clean. Will then come the ethanol blending capacity. From the studies we have done, the business case will be powerful. I mean, it eradicates poverty from the rural areas because we start growing plantations for corn and cassava. We can start extracting ethanol from them and then blend it with the gasoline. Now, what I have in front of me is that we can save up to $56.3 million per annum if we start blending 10% of ethanol with gasoline to consume in Ghana. Our cars already are ready to consume that fuel. So you don't need new cars to consume that. However, we're doing a lot of things in the environment by blending ethanol gasoline. So not only that, as we start burning that fuel, we save a lot of carbon and greenhouse gases from the environment. That means that we can have new revenue as well by selling those carbon credits, equivalent to almost 15.6 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent per annum. And that is equivalent to almost $340 million US at a price of $25. per ton. That is new revenue coming into the group. So the business case is huge. And not only that, it almost 20,000 plus new jobs and boost rural income. Because we have all these farmers growing the farm of scratch. Now, I'm sure you all know that we already have the local technology to produce people of but we putting new investment back to really extract ethanol and then consume and then blend the gasoline and consume it. In terms of infrastructure as well, the infrastructure is great because you don't need limited infrastructure to blend the 10% ethanol with the you just go into the same tanks that we have, browse into the same pipelines that we have. So in terms of new investment into that area, it's quite minimal. The only so here we may appeal to the regulators to get ready so that they can regulate the blends so that we bring in the right quality to come from the country. So for us, it's all opportunity across board. Poverty reduction, new revenues. Once you get in the new revenue, the currency becomes more stable. You don't need to do much. Like my colleague said, you're situated at the very critical location within the sub-region, and so we can export these fuels as well to the various landlocked countries like Mali, Burkina, etc. So for us, it's the opportunity, and the business space is a no-brainer. Thank you.
I think your presentation has just opened some opportunities for people to really proud. I think that investors around this and always start approaching for business information. When you know you're opening your doors, then because they have the education, then it pushes the actual recently, we are aware that the ministry secured a financial package for the structural projects. What are some of the challenges you have to overcome for where some of the constituencies with securing financial and but we want to know from a particular experience what you meant.
As of and if it has created a finding, it's been a very difficult and long process for it. I want to thank my minister for the campaign. I think we're able to raise our back in the 2018 government investment fund, 27 for our fund, and second, it was 13 and the government stock now. So from project concept, creation, environmental, I think it's almost 7 years. The major is the project preparation, the funding for that leg of work, the most difficult side. So we have to talk to African Development Bank to deploy some of the funding for it. Under the EPC, I'm doing that we started profiling project and identify the sources of the project. It's very, very good job. But the bank and the difficult part is the land acquisition. Today you go to some of the islands, they give you the land, you have the MOU, they'll give you everything. You go the next time, they encroach on them. So you have to, go about all of you. You done your environmental study based on that location. But then they have to instruct the whole the project field. So that's another area that property price, I know what to find it. You need to take that to the and approval process, something that we have to we are looking at other conditions. And now, I want to suggest that we already have project power generation infrastructure fund. If you can have some funding for project preparation, I think I'll just that we can do that.
Okay, very good. From what you just elaborated, what I think that the fact is not president. And once you have lessons there, you can implement them moving forward for 7 years and so on, the right to move for next 3 or 4 years. Congratulations. Okay, and then we start to run with that.
I think the opportunities for us as a country are diverse and very attractive, because if you look at we're talking just about transition, we are minerals resource in our country. Many of the minerals we have, better minerals we have, better minerals we have in transition. And so for us, it creates another opportunity for partnership with investors. Ghana today has discovered lithium, but we have bauxite, we have manganese, we have oil and gas, well, gas, and we have other minerals that are actually required for energy transitions. And so that creates a high level of opportunity that we should highlight, that it's just not a fact that we want to achieve it ourselves, but we actually can to achieve it. And so over mineral resource endowment. I think that the real opportunities to open the doors for private sector to engage. I think that the speed of today's world, the speed of engagement is very important, because we have a critical mission to achieve this before 2060. And so once we have these opportunities, we need to accelerate them. I know that there's a lot of policy work going on to ensure that we can engage with this.
Yes, even though I was asked to talk only about like work, there are confused opportunities as well that within my entity and the country or now, especially liquid gas. We need to move the gas across the country. So for gas infrastructure, there's huge opportunity. For pipeline infrastructure, even to move the blended fuels, there's huge opportunity. For any investor out there who is looking for their investment, they can partner with us back home to really unlock the potential within the country as a sub-region. We don't only serve Ghana, we serve the whole sub-region. We are transit points, a re-export destination for the whole sub-region. So for all these transition forms within the next 5 to 10 years, we believe we can really get all the returns for investment if we have the right partnerships.
Thank you very much. This has been a very insightful conversation. That we have to take our platform as a country to take opportunities, and then the structure to this so that we can have trouble in the goals and things like that, tax regimes, customs regimes, and we believe that the sector ministries will really put their hands to the plow. We have to take the market and Ghana is very well positioned to tap into what's going on in Sierra. Thank you very much. This has been invited to take a picture and then probably I think it was Make a closing remark, sir. And then after that, we'll have snacks in the foyer. Thank you.
I'm with this, the CEOs of certain ministries, directors of ministry, departments, things and things. With that, we have a very fruitful morning, fully engaged in discussions that are taking place. Can speak for partnerships in energy transition agenda. I was asked presentations that we are available. We invite all of you to appear to response to the presenters. Indeed, we get an active African organizations to be sure. And for the travel who's been the titles and we hope that we this thank you very much. Have a great day.
Before we start, we want to have the preachers. So first of all, photographers, are you ready? So we'll have the Minister of Energy and the Deputy Minister available to and it was a honor for the picture.